Growing up, society taught you to follow the script by choosing a career path and climbing the ladder. But for many people, this promise falls flat. Work suffocates them and life becomes painful. Here, you're trapped in what I call the corporate cage. Fortunately, there's a way out. You can take control of your corporate job and unlock a life of freedom. I call this living uncaged. Hi, this is your host, Matt Doan. I'm a coach, creator, and entrepreneur. Uncaging people is my mission because it's been my exact life journey. This show provides you the stories, principles, and tactics to make it happen. Welcome to Uncage Yourself. I can't believe it. We're at the end of 2022 already. It's been one hell of a year, and I'm sure you've had your own version of that. For me, in March of this year is when I left corporate. After 15 years in management consulting, I summoned up the courage, the bravery, and built the plan to actually leave. So I've been out for over 9 months, and I'll tell you, it's been one heck of a challenge, but amazing at the same time. You know, I had, like I said, 15 years of consulting experience, but when I reflect on that, it feels more like 1 year of experience replicated 15 times because I was doing much of the same thing year after year, using the same skills, not growing in wildly different ways. But this year, not even a full year out on my own, I feel like I've grown more during these months than I have in almost my entire corporate career before that. Just because it's a forcing function for you to up your game, you're challenged, you have to run experiments, have to lean in and develop skills you never thought you'd have to build and challenge yourself and make new relationships. It's something else. I know I talk about that a lot, but I wanted to bring some of these lessons to life for you. At the end of every year, I do a reflection and for my own sake, and then share that with other people as well for their own growth, right? So that's where I am right now, is I want to share those lessons with you, and I hope they help. A lot of them have to do with personal development, entrepreneurship, living a good, healthy life, going for more wealth and freedom in your world. So I hope you understand how these apply to you, and let's get to it. Now, I will say before I get into them, I have 15 lessons I want to share, but reflections are great only if you distill them into actionable insights. And then, most importantly, apply those insights. So I'm going to give you 15 different lessons that I learned, and I'm going to do my damnedest to actually apply those in 2023. And I hope you can find ones that actually work for you, and you can do the same. So let's get started. Number one, and again, these are in no particular order, but here we go. Number one, the constraint equals us. Think about any tough situation you have, right? You look at the economy, financials, your job sucks, or maybe you have a difficult set of relationships in your world. It's easy to blame those external things. But in reality, we are our own biggest bottleneck. So when you feel like you can't get past something massive, look in the mirror and ask yourself, what uncomfortable truth do I need to address? The constraint often is just us. Realize that. Number two, recognize when you're, quote, insane. Einstein allegedly said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That quote has always stuck with me, and I found myself several times over the course of this year, especially when you look in entrepreneurship and you're trying to emulate a lot of your idols. For example, posting on social media in a certain way and expecting certain results. But when I wasn't getting the same results that I saw others getting, I kept pressing forward, and I realized that I was in my own loop of insanity and I needed to unlock. So a couple times over the year, I ended up doing the opposite of what everyone else was doing. I did a 180 and started changing my strategies and started finding new gains in that way. But you have to realize that when you're insane, it means that you're just doing the same thing again and again and not getting the results you desire. So understand when you're in that insanity loop and pull out when you need to. Number three, do one big thing at a time. This sounds really impossible at first because we're very used to juggling multiple things, lots of balls in the air, right? All the things that we have to do professionally and personally. And the challenge with that is everything gets mediocre results because you're never going all in or deeply into something that means a lot to you. So you have to spread yourself very thin. So when you have a massive challenge in your life, whether it's your personal health, career, relationship, you need to improve your finances, go all in on that thing for a period of time. Of course, you'll have to say temporarily, you're going to have to say no to other important things, but it's worth it. You're going to have to figure out what this means to you. Of course, we can't ignore family or a job, for example, to lose weight. We have to figure out how to deprioritize our attention and energy on certain things to fixate for a certain period of time on something that means a lot to us. So again, whether it's like building a business, improving your job situation, improving your marriage, your health, whatever it is, if you have something that's massive and it's a big need in your world, figure out how to say, okay, the next 60 days, I'm going to go all in on this thing. I'm going to put blinders up to as much else as I can and go all in and rapidly improve my health. You can apply that almost any aspect of life. Okay, number 4, put serious skin in the game. Skin in the game is one of my favorite terms. And the reality is, whenever we need to pull off a massive transformation in our life, again, go back to things like health, wealth, relationships, career, we need to invest serious money, time, and energy. That's the trifecta of things that say to our brains, this matters. We are going to make something massive come to life. So you have to stop believing that passively consuming information will change your world. If you want real transformation in your world, you can't just listen to audiobooks or read a book or say, I like this on a social media post. You have to actively invest real money, time, and energy into the transformation you need in your life. Hey, Matt here. Just a quick break from our show. If you're picking up what I'm putting down on this episode, I want you to run on over to uncagedworkshop.com. There, you'll find something I'm really proud of. I put my heart and soul into a transformative masterclass, helping you go from caged to uncaged. I promise it'll shock you out of conformity and having you want so much more out of work and life. So head on over to uncagedworkshop.com and check it out. All right, back to the show. Okay, number 5, solve problems holistically, not in a piecemeal fashion. It's really easy to obsess over a single puzzle piece when you're trying to improve career, health, wealth, or relationships. But then what you realize as you've been locked in on that one puzzle piece, you zoom out and say, oh crap, the entire puzzle remains. And it's because you didn't zoom out from the get-go and actually develop a full understanding of the picture. So again, if you want to improve your health, say like your body's deteriorated, you need to zoom out and understand everything from sleep to nutrition to fitness to mental well-being that's going to get you in a better state. There's a full transformation that needs to take place. You want to go from A to Z, not A to C, right? You need to go the full transformation and you need to zoom out and understand what that end-to-end journey actually looks like so that you're not spending money, time, and energy on something that barely works for you. Okay, number 6, use social media. Don't let it use you. Trust me, there's a ton of value in social media. You can learn, test ideas, you can open new doors. Clearly, you can be entertained, but you've got to make sure to curate your feed. Make sure that you only let the right things, the right people and ideas in your head, and be hyper intentional in how and when you use it. Have a strategy for yourself. That might include, I only go on at these times. I put website blockers on my computer. Otherwise, I don't have the social media apps on my phone. These sorts of things which make it more under your control. So you're using social media. It's not using you. Number 7, a healthy mind and body can make anything possible. I'll tell you, this is probably the biggest gain I had since leaving corporate earlier this year. Emotionally and physically, I'm more fit than I've ever been. And I'll tell you, I just feel so optimistic and energized and limitless in what my potential is. I've never seen more clearly. I've never believed so much that anything is possible because I've trained my mind and body at levels that I've never been able to before. And it's a beautiful result where I know that 2023 is going to be my biggest year ever. And it's because I put in that hard work on getting mentally and physically strong. Number 8, swarm on active income generation. Here's what I mean. So you'll see online, like everyone's going for passive income. Let's go get the real estate properties. Let's get all sorts of dividend stocks and yada, yada. But while you go for that, while we want passive income hitting our bank account, of course, that's a beautiful thing. But what you don't want to do is just invest in that sort of thing and then wait over many years for passive income to set you free, because it's going to be decades in the making if you wait for your freedom. And what I'm learning quite quickly in entrepreneurial land is outside of your 9-to-5 job, if you surge, even in a side hustle fashion, for several years, you can blow your corporate earnings out of the water and you can have fun while doing it. So a few concentrated years of active growth, you can make a ton of money with great urgency. And then you can fuel your passive income investments with that. But you can also have a great cushion, something to lean on. And you'll also have a ton of fun and you'll grow when you're doing it. So don't just take your extra salary and throw it towards, say, your next real estate property. While that's good, it's not active enough. You can do more in a concentrated period of time. So bring some urgency. Use your good prime years while you can, because you never know what's going to happen. You might get really sick 2 years from now or disabled. Like, I hate saying that, but it's true. So while you're healthy and able, go make a ton of money. Go do a lot of good in this world. As I heard earlier, one of my favorite sayings is the amount of money you make is just a measuring stick for the value you're creating in this world. So think about that. Go make a ton of money. You deserve it. And others will get value because you do it. Number 9, you'll never feel more alive than when you're pursuing your passion or dream. Do you know what I mean by this? Do you have your version of this? It's okay if you don't understand your passion or dream right now. But here's my best advice. You're not going to just find it under a rock. It's not some generic thing. It's specific and it's highly tuned to who you are as a person. You have to go out there and cultivate that passion. Run experiments. If you've got interests, right? If you've got inclinations, go start playing with them. Go start hanging out with people that are doing interesting things that are far different than what you're doing right now. As you spend time with that, say as you create content, say as you go join a club, if you go take a course, whatever it is, your passion, your dream will become more clear, right? Right now you might say, I just want financial freedom. Like, that's not at all specific enough. I don't want you just controlling your time. I want you to feel alive every single day. And you need to run experiments to figure out what that passion or that dream is. And eventually you might be so lucky as to merge your income with your passion into one beautiful harmonized thing. Maybe you'll end up there. That's where I'm aiming. It doesn't have to be what you want, but that's where I'm going with all of this. Number 10, be your future self now. I want you to go 5 years ahead. Imagine just for a moment, who are you? What is your life like? Start acting that way now. Pull that information, those insights, that imagined version of you into the now. Here's a great way to think about it. My wife and I, we think about ourselves 5 years from now, and then we talk to each other as our future selves. So we'll be sitting on the couch talking about the amazing dinner we had at this extravagant restaurant, or the beautiful new car that we have that's sitting in our garage, which we know will be ours in a short amount of time. So we talk about what it's like driving it and just make it real. We program our minds, and you start to believe that this future for yourself is inevitable. And you would not believe how life-altering it is when you start being your future self now. You talk about it, you think about it, you write about it, you talk to other people in your family and your friend group about it. It's amazing. It'll change how you view the world, what you will say yes to, what you will say no to. So start being your future self now. Number 11, life is short, but you can make it long. If you look back to Einstein's relativity theory, he shows that we can actually slow down time because we all experience time differently. And if you make higher quality choices and you immerse yourself, say, in flow state work or around people that you love or hobbies that just excite you, or you're reading an amazing book, time slows down. But if you're trying to juggle all the things and jump from meeting to meeting every 30 minutes and fit in a workout, 5 minutes at 10 p.m., like that's you running around like a chicken with its head cut off. Time is going to fly by. And as you get older, it's more likely that you're going to feel time speeding up. So you actively have to make higher quality choices to slow down time, just like Einstein showed us. And a great way to think about this is to apply Essentialism. It's one of my favorite books, Essentialism. And the essence is do less, but better. So do fewer things, but higher quality things in your life. So activities, job choices, work, people that you hang around, content that you let into your brain, things you watch, things you read, higher quality, but less. Okay. Number 12. Have the right people to lean on. A lot of people just accept the default people in their lives. So family members you're given, you can't do anything about that, right? And you have to figure out how much time do you want to spend with those people, whether they're good for you or not. And then colleagues, right? You enroll in a job and then you have those colleagues kind of given to you. You might hire some of them, but generally you're just surrounded by people by default. And you're limited by that. You have to figure out how much value they're adding to your life and say, maybe I want to spend less time with these people because I've graduated beyond their mindset. I want to be something more, or they're toxic to me. And you have to figure out what your own little tribe of people look like. And you should search for people that challenge you, that uplift you, that empathize with your journey, all these things. And I would say this is a great place where social media is actually valuable if you do it on your terms. And you start looking for these special people, these relationships where you can have one-on-one connections with them and build those one-to-one. And then over time, as you level up as a person, as your ambitions, your goals change, you want to upgrade your tribe. The people that served you yesterday might not serve you tomorrow. And you have to be okay with that because you can't remain close with everyone. And you have to keep leveling up who's in your life, how much time and energy you're affording for these people. Number 13, the crowded path is always the wrong path. I want you to learn how to interact with the crowd, but never conform to the crowd. Remember that conventional wisdom always creates conventional results. So when everyone's going to do something, realize that everyone's generally going to get average results. It's hard to stand out. It's hard to be unique when you're just doing what the crowd is doing. So whether that's at work and they're asking you to fit in a certain way, or whether you're trying to build a business like all the other people you're seeing online, realize that's very crowded, very competitive, and it's going to be hard to stand out. It makes sense only that we've got to do rare things, different things, betting on our uniqueness to actually stand out and feel joyous, feel energized. Number 14, along that same line, fixate on your uniqueness. Realize you are one of one. There will never be another you, never ever. And no one has ever been made up the way that you are. Your thoughts, feelings, experiences, characteristics. Your greatest strength and your greatest potential lies in exploiting your individuality. Whether you think about your unique ability or your zone of genius, when you're doing things that light you up and you're gifted at, that's where you're meant to be. And it takes time to discover that. It takes a lot of work to shape your work situation, your personal life, so that you're doing things where you're using your gifts. But you've got to do that hard work of surfacing those gifts, nurturing those gifts, and spending time on those gifts. Because again, otherwise you're just going to end up in the crowd, doing the average things and getting average results. Your uniqueness is where your greatest potential is. And lastly, number 15, I love this one. This means a lot to my soul. Your outer world is a direct reflection of your inner world. You become what you think about, literally. Thoughts create feelings, feelings ignite new actions, and actions generate results. That's the cycle. So whatever you're thinking about, whether it's a negative situation at work, you're going to manifest more of that negative situation. You're going to talk about, oh, this stuff sucks. I can't believe this environment, or the economy's terrible, or I'm not paid enough. Oh, if you talk all negative things into your brain, you're going to keep making decisions that allow that to happen. But again, if you think about, say, being your future self, right? If you program thoughts of your future self into your mind right now, you can unlock an entire new reality. If you say, that brand new dream home, right? If that's mine and I know what it smells like, what it feels like to walk through the room, to touch the granite countertop in the kitchen and the beautiful stainless steel oven and refrigerator, you imagine that and you bring it to your world and you make it so real, your brain eventually can't tell the difference. And then you're going to start feeling as though it's yours. And then you're going to start saying yes to the things that will create that reality for you and say no to the stuff that was holding you back. I know that might blow your mind a little bit, but you have to program your thoughts wisely because it's the cycle of thoughts, feelings, and actions that generate your very reality. So keep that in mind. I know that was a lot, but that was my top 15 learnings for 2015. I hope you can bring that into your world, figure out which pieces matter, and most important, apply it. Because insights don't do anything. Just passively listening to me right now won't do anything until you say, okay, hey, number 4, 9, and 13, those stuck out to me. I'm going to write them down. I'm going to figure out how to apply them. And then I'm going to run an experiment for the next 60 days to make it real. And I'm going to build new skill, new perspective. I'm going to push myself. I'm going to break through my comfort zone. You have to bring it to action. It's on you. So I really hope 2023 is an amazing year for you. I hope these little bits over the course of this year that I've been able to share have been useful. And I just want to say, I appreciate you. We'll chat soon. Hey, Matt here. Thanks for listening to Uncage Yourself. For show notes and more content like this, head over to uncageyourself.fm. And if you liked what you heard, I'd appreciate you leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Until next time, be well, my friend.